On this episode of Arts Weekly, I'm speaking with Dawn Ritchie from the city of Fort Wayne.
We will be able to connect the Aboit trails with the River Greenway system, so we will have 50 miles of connected trails throughout Fort Wayne and New Haven.
And Ron Reese from the Fort Wayne Area Community Band.
So as we play some jazz tunes, we play classical tunes, show tunes. We try to vary it throughout the year in our different concerts.
This is Arts Weekly.
Arts Weekly is a production of the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design. IPFW, the energy of arts.
Hello, I'm Chuck O'Connor, and this is Arts Weekly. Joining me is Dawn Ritchie, Greenways manager for the city of Fort Wayne. She's here to talk about Fort Wayne's Greenways. Dawn, I'm looking forward to talking to you about the Greenways today.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, the weather is beginning to get warm, hopefully, cross our fingers, and people are thinking about ways to get outdoors and get some exercise. And of course, one of the best ways to do that is to get on our greenways. But before we talk about that, I want to talk a little bit about your background. You're the manager. How long have you been with the Greenway system?
Well, since 2005, since early in 2005, so going on 6.5 years.
Wow, and you manage how many miles of trails now do we have?
Well, here in the county, we have 61 miles of trails.
Wow. So, these trails, people can bike on them, you can walk on them, you can rollerblade on them. Really, they're there for everybody. As I know the trails, they sort of follow the rivers, do they not?
The majority of our trails do follow along our three rivers, and but you know that was the original River Greenway, and one of our goals has been to expand the River Greenway to new places of destination throughout the community, including neighborhoods. Ultimately, we would love to see all neighborhoods in Fort Wayne connected somehow to the River Greenway system, serving as the backbone of our trail system.
But really, it's expanding quite rapidly. Of course, you can now get all the way from IPFW right here.
Right, yeah.
Practically all the way down to Aboit.
In fact, this is the biggest year for us yet, because once we finish the last phase of the Wabash and Erie Canal towpath trail on the southwest side of town, we will be able to connect the Aboit trails with the River Greenway system, so we will have 50 miles of connected trails throughout Fort Wayne and New Haven.
Oh my gosh, and there's actually people alive that can bike that.
Yes, not me, but...
Well, so really, the trails have expanded quite rapidly in Fort Wayne.
Absolutely.
You know, when did they start?
We really started, well, the original River Greenway was built back in the late 70s and the 1980s. But then we had a lull for a while, and then finally in 2006 we started building trails again. So from 2006 to 2010, we went from 20 miles to 61 miles.
Wow. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming events in May, but May is actually National Bike Month?
Yes, it is.
Correct? And what are we doing for that in Fort Wayne?
Well, we've got a lot of great activities planned.
I know we
just
have
to hit some of the highlights.
Some of the highlights.
We've got Bike to the Ballpark days. The Tin Caps are in town at Parkview Field for most of the Sundays in May. So Sunday, May 1st, the 15th, and the 29th. I believe the games start at 3 o'clock. So we're encouraging residents to bike downtown to Parkview Field. There's free bike parking at the entrance.
Wow.
Should be a really fun time. Also, we've got Bike to Work Day on May 20th. For any of you who work downtown and you want to ride your bike to work that day, join us down at Headwaters Park from 7 to 8:30. We'll have free bagels and coffee.
A little motivation there.
Yes, and we'd really like to encourage IPFW and businesses in our community to also support their employees and encourage them to bike to work on May 20th. And then finally, we've got free movie nights at the Downtown Library.
That's right.
On May 3rd at 6:30 and May 24th at 6:30. And we're encouraging everyone to ride your bike downtown to the library to view these movies.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, is there an age limit for that, or can you bring your kids on the bike?
Oh, absolutely, you can bring your kids. And we really encourage everybody to ride safely, so wear bright clothes and definitely wear your helmet.
Okay. You also have ongoing events throughout the summer.
Yeah.
For instance, every Tuesday evening, one can bike a different trail. You can get together with another group of citizens. And tell us a little bit about your Tuesday evening rides, or if that's what you call them.
Yes, well, it's Trek the Trails. Mayor Henry told us last year, hey, we need to get the community more involved with our trails. As we've built more and more trails, we need to get residents out exploring these new trails. And most people tend to use the trails near their homes where they're familiar. We want to get them out exploring the community. So we started this last year. It was a huge hit. Every Tuesday night at 6 p.m., we ride a different section of the trail system. So we've done it again this year. In fact, riders last year told us we want more this year. So
Really?
we expanded it starting in May 3rd through the end of September. Again, every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. The rides are family friendly. We only ride about 8 to 10 miles per hour, and it's usually 6 to 8 miles. So if you go to fortwayneparks.org and click on the River Greenway page, go to events, it'll tell you on that website where we're meeting every Tuesday night. And then some of our riders last year asked us to have longer rides. So we're doing one Saturday a month. Again, the same website, you can find out which Saturdays, but we're doing rides starting at about, I think in June we're starting at about 12 or 14 miles, and then through the summer we're leading up to a 20-mile ride in September.
And even at that, you can bring your family along.
Oh, absolutely,
they're-
yes. Again, these are family-friendly events. We don't ride real fast. We're just out to have fun, so bring a sense of adventure and definitely look to have a lot of fun.
And it's not competitive.
No, not competitive at all.
Does one need to wear a helmet?
Absolutely. We need you to bring your bike. Again, try to wear light-colored clothing and certainly bring your helmet because we want everybody to be safe on our trails.
Because those Tuesday evening rides go all the way to, I think, 10 or 11 in the evening,
Well,
or do they stop sooner than that?
These Tuesday night rides are generally done by 7:30 because they're only
they are,
about
okay.
8 miles, 6 to 8 miles long.
Okay, everybody goes at the same time. They all leave at the same
Sure,
time, and they end at the same place.
And it's been extremely popular. We averaged over 80 riders per ride. I mean, we had a couple of rides last year where we had close to 150 riders, and it just really makes a statement as we're riding along the trails, especially as we're near a road. I mean, the vehicular traffic just kind of stops, and they're in awe at how many bicyclists are out there. So it really makes a statement to the community that people love our trails and they love to bike.
150. That's a good turnout.
That's a great turnout.
So you had this great success last year. Now you want to do more of it, essentially.
Absolutely.
But you also have bike to work, or rather weekday bike riding. Is that not, I think, Mondays at noon?
Well, actually, what we're doing this year, in addition to the bike rides, we're trying to get people out exploring our trails in the downtown area. So for those of us who work downtown, actually anybody can join us, but on Mondays in June and July at noon, we're meeting at the Courthouse Green, and we're going to walk about 2 miles. It'll take about 40 minutes. We're going to walk along the trails downtown, and even through some of our historic neighborhoods like West Central and Lakeside.
Oh, that's great. So it's a good break for somebody at work. They want to see the downtown, and of course, these trails go not only all through downtown, but I got out. I live a little bit near the university here. You can ride all the way from almost New Haven all the way down through Foster Park on these trails. Correct?
Actually, even farther south than Foster Park, you can go down to Tillman Park and even the Public Safety Academy in Southtown Center.
So that's a good long ride, and most of these trails are not on the road, so they're safe. You don't need to worry about cars.
Yes, and something very unique about our system that I get feedback from other communities that they really like this is when we built the River Greenway back in the 70s and 80s, instead of crossing a lot of major roads, we actually go under the roads, under the bridges. Whereas in most communities, you have to cross with at-grade crossing or bridges over roads. So it's really kind of nice. Although, of course, in the spring you get flooding events, and then that makes it a little more difficult to traverse the River Greenway.
But mostly, it's a very, very easy ride that you feel very safe. You don't have to cross major streets, and I think you guys did a wonderful job. Out there on the east side, on the Maumee River, there's a little bit of construction going on because the Maple Crest Road is being extended, as I understand it. Tell us when that's going to get done, and when we can expect to be able to ride all the way out to the east side of town.
Right. We closed the trail down last May where they're extending Maple Crest Road, as you mentioned, and that is going to finally reopen sometime this June. Now, the Maple Crest Road extension project won't be finished until next year sometime, but at least they're almost finished with the section over the River Greenway, so that'll open up in June.
Are you able to track how many people are riding, and has the ridership gone up? Walking as well.
We actually, that's a great question. We actually bought some trail cameras last year. They count the users. They're little infrared cameras. We've got them on five locations on our trails, and during our peak season, which was last August, we counted 45,000 users in 1 month.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty amazing.
What would you tell our viewers about the safety of the trails? Should one ride at night? What kind of caution should one take?
Well, our trails are open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. If you are riding the trail when it's dark out, it is state law that you have a reflector on the back and also a headlight on the front of your bike. Our trails are very, very safe. In the 6.5 years I've been here, we haven't had any major incidents whatsoever. But I would advise women, like myself, I like to walk with my dog or go with a buddy. Always carry a cell phone, of course. But again, our trails are very, very safe.
They're safe. Now, I have one of these pamphlets right here.
Yeah, the
very, very
Greenway
common.
brochure.
Yeah. People can pick these up where? At the
they're
bike
free.
stores?
The bike stores, the Parks Department, the City County building. Also, visit Fort Wayne, the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Right, all over the place, and you can get one of these pamphlets all over and just find out where the trails are and catch one right near your home. You also have an interesting looking license plate.
Yes,
there.
you know how we have specialty plates from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles? Well, this is our first year to have a trails license plate. So I want to encourage everybody, if you love trails, go out and, the specialty plates do cost an extra $35, but please I want to encourage you to please consider buying one of these specialty plates.
Helps to support the trails.
Absolutely.
What about volunteer opportunities with the trails? One can be a trail ranger.
Exactly. We have this incredible program called Greenway Rangers, and actually we have over 80 Greenway Rangers on our trails. Basically, a ranger gets about a half a mile section. The ranger is trained by the Fort Wayne Police Department as well as the Fort Wayne Public Works Department. There are eyes out there because I can't be on the trails. With 61 miles, there's no way to check the trails every week. So from April through October, our rangers check their section of the trail once a week, and they report back to me if there are any problems, such as a pothole or a huge tree that's fallen down. And our rangers actually do a little bit of maintenance too. They'll pick up trash. They'll even trim some branches back. So they're fantastic. And then we also have, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
We also have the Adopt a Greenway program, much like the Adopt a Highway program, where we give an organization, a church, a Boy Scout troop, a business, a 2-mile section of the trails, and at least 3 times a year they have to clean that section of the trail. And then on each end of their section they get a sign, identifying that they have adopted that section.
Oh, I've seen those signs. So to get more information about all that, you just go to your website.
Yep.
And there's plenty of opportunity. Well, time to shed those overcoats and the heavy clothes and put on some shorts. Summer's almost here, and there's no better way to spend summer, at least a nice summer day, even an evening, than on our wonderful Greenways here in Fort Wayne. Dawn, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll see you on the trails.
You betcha. For more information about Fort Wayne's Greenways, please visit fortwayneparks.org. Arts Weekly will return in a moment.